America continues to make progress with vaccinations. According to the White House, 1/4 of all U.S. adults are now fully vaccinated. More than 114 million Americans have received at least one dose. The U.S. is also averaging 3 million shots a day. One of the next steps may be vaccinating children. Yesterday, Pfizer asked the FDA to expand use of its vaccine to adolescents ages 12 to 15. Pfizer says its drug was safe and 100% effective for that age group in clinical trials. Let's get to more of your COVID questions with Dr. Lippy Roy, the medical director of COVID isolation and quarantine sites for Housing Works here in New York. Dr. Roy, good evening. Good to see you.
Great to see you, Joshua. How are you doing, my friend?
I am good, other than the fact that I can't seem to get my vaccine appointment in New York. I am fighting real hard with the website. Every time you go to click it, it's like, I feel like, who was it? Linus and Lucy with the football. You know what I'm talking about? Where like he's just about to click it, and then Lucy goes, and the appointment is gone. Other than that, I'm not bitter at all, but I'm doing just fine. Anyway, let's get to some viewer questions, because I could bore you with my vaccine worries all night long, particularly because some folks are concerned about what may happen after they get vaccinated. One viewer asked, why are we seeing reports of people fully vaccinated from months ago getting sick from COVID now? Dr. Roy, I think this was always a possibility with the vaccine, even with their high efficacy. Hey, Dr. Roy, can you hear me?
Sorry, I think I just lost connection. Yeah, so just a reminder to the viewers, Joshua, the purpose of these vaccines was to really reduce the risk of infection, but most importantly, severe disease, hospitalization, and death. The trial data had already shown that people can still get the virus, but the risk of severe disease, illness, and death was severely reduced. So we know that people can still, unfortunately, get infected and get sick. But as I said, the clinical parameters that are most important still are maintained.
Another viewer tweeted, the risk of getting COVID-19 still outweighs the risk of blood clots or adverse events. People seem more afraid of queasiness and fainting than long COVID and death. Can you talk a little bit about what it means when we say the pros outweigh the cons, particularly with some of the news about a few blood clots reported with people who got the AstraZeneca vaccine?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So what we mean when we say that the pros of the vaccine outweigh the cons. So as I just said, the pros or the benefits of the COVID-19 vaccination includes a significant reduction in severe disease, hospitalization, and death. Those are the true benefits, and they far outweigh any of the side effects for sure, which include pain at the injection site, fever, fatigue, all of which are short-acting and temporary and minor. In addition, we are unfortunately seeing some side effects with, say, like the AstraZeneca vaccine with clots. Again, the studies so far that they've done in Europe, at least, they have seen 222 cases amongst 34 million people who got the vaccine. So they're seeing a one clot incident in 1 in 100,000 people. Again, it's not nothing, but it's extremely rare compared to the vast number of people who are reaping the benefits of vaccination, Joshua.
Anita asks, I am not anti-vaccine, but I'm extremely afraid to take the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine. I know people who actually had allergic reactions to both vaccines. Has the Johnson & Johnson vaccine been tested on people who have extreme allergies? Doctor?
So I want to address Anita's point head on. I'm so glad she's asking the question. First of all, regarding the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, let me first of all talk about data, and then I'm going to share stories, including my own personal story and experience. So the data, the clinical trial data, was very clear in showing that the most common side effects were pain and redness and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, body aches, some fevers, chills, nausea. Again, very minor. Very few people get all of those. Some people get 1 or 2 of those side effects, and it's again temporary, 1 or 2 days, and then you feel great. Me personally, I received the Moderna vaccine. I had some of those side effects after the first and even a little worse after the second dose. But after 2 days, Joshua, I really felt great. I'm now 2-3 months out and I still feel great. So as for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, the side effects, again, very, very similar. Pain at the injection site, fevers, chills, body aches, headaches. Again, temporary. You feel better after 1 or 2 days, Joshua.
And before we go, Doctor, we got a bunch of questions like this one from Lucy, who asked, if someone is breastfeeding her child for 1.5 years now, is it safe for her to get a COVID vaccination? Would it affect the baby negatively if the vaccine is transmitted through the breast milk? Doctor?
Yeah, so another really great question by Lucy. Thanks for asking it. So as I think your viewers already know, the trials for these COVID-19 vaccines were not performed on pregnant or breastfeeding women. That said, there have been there was a study done by Mount Sinai Hospital here in New York looking at I think 6 women who received the Pfizer vaccine and 4 breastfeeding women who received the Moderna vaccine. And amongst all those women, about 14 days after being fully vaccinated, the IgG antibody, which is the antibody associated with chronic immunity, was detected in all of those women. So we actually already know that breast milk breast milk can actually reduce viral transmission and infection of the host cells. But what we don't know yet is if these antibodies can confer immunity in the babies. We still need a lot more research and data to show that. But I think for the most part, the scientists are actually find this to be good news that the breast milk is showing evidence of the antibodies, Joshua.
Dr. Lippy Roy, always good to have you with us to answer some questions. Thanks very much.
You got it. Have a good day.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.